Hello, I'm Rob Clementi, the Chief Executive of 10, the Education Network. And I'm here with Dr. Allison Standfield from Brisbane, who is presenting a webinar for us on generative AI in drafting commercial agreements. And the subtext is time saver or litigation maker. And that's going to be presented on the 6th of March 2025. Alison, thank you very much for joining me today.
No
First,
problem.
first of all, when you're reviewing an agreement drafted by generative AI, what things do you need to look out for in practice?
I think the first thing you need to look out for is what are your instructions? What, if there's heads of agreement, are they being reflected in the document? I guess it's like anything, if using a precedent as a starting point, it's probably no different to that. It should just be a starting point. You really need to make sure that your instructions are covered off. Anything that's come out in the due diligence that you need to be aware of is contained in the document. And then your usual clauses, liability, indemnities, warranties, everything that protects your client is in there.
I mean, do you find with these documents that Gen AI produces a reasonable go generally?
Look, it depends what it is. I think in some cases it does produce a reasonable start.
Hmm.
Sometimes, depending on what you ask, you get something back that is just completely wrong. So, as I said, I think it is a starting point, but you really just need to make sure that you rely on your experience and your drafting skills and making sure you bring that into looking at anything that has been generated artificially.
And one thing you mentioned in our earlier discussions before we started the interview was the effect this will have on junior lawyers and their training.
Yeah, so that's a big question. Junior lawyers are going to be using this stuff. So if the senior practitioners perhaps don't have time to give them proper instructions, they will go off and use this. So how do we, as the older generation, impart our knowledge and experience onto the junior lawyers? And it's going to be a different thing. I think at the moment, we use precedents. You do sit down, you do your redlining. We're going to get something a little bit different to what we're used to. So I think we have to think about how do we train lawyers, because they are coming at it from a different perspective than, when we went through and
Mm.
we're learning the ropes.
Alison, thank you very much. Just a reminder to our attendees or listeners today that you can attend this webinar by going to our website, tved.net.au. The subject is the use of generative AI in drafting commercial agreements. The webinar is on the 6th of March 2025. Find that webinar and you can register online. And Alison, once again, thank you very much.
Thanks, Robert.